Welcome to the channel. So I was on social media and I came across a video about being a live-in partner. I think in other countries you call it domestic partners, so that's the premise. Anyway, the video was about how it seems stupid to be a live-in partner when you're looking to get married. For more context, this is about women in the Philippines and how a lot of them end up disappointed when their partners don't want to marry them. It's a common complaint of domestic partners here, and the video talks about how can you expect a man to commit to marrying you when you're already doing wifey things for him. That it doesn't make sense to devote years of your life taking care of and having kids with someone who will never marry you. And after watching the whole video, I do agree that if marriage is your end goal, that you shouldn't be doing wife-related responsibilities if they aren't putting a ring on that finger. So I gave my opinion on the video and said living with your partner without making sure marriage is on the table is like trying to sell a car by giving out free unlimited test drives. It doesn't make sense. I felt like I was giving a fair and valid opinion, so I didn't think much of it. Until I got a bizarre reply. Basically, the reply says that I should be aware that some women prefer a live-in situation rather than marriage because there is no divorce in the Philippines. Which is true, divorce is not legal in the Philippines, but we do have legal separation which divides assets between the two parties. They just can't legally remarry. But to continue the story, they are arguing that at least in a domestic partnership, if you get abused, you can break up with that person without legal trouble. Which is weird because why would you even live with someone if you knew that they were going to abuse you in some way? But sure, you would prefer not to be tied down to a horrible person? The comment would have had a point if we were talking about that particular situation. FYI, that wasn't the topic. So I replied back and said, cool story, not the topic. We are talking about people who want to get married, not which one is better between marriage or domestic partnership. Of course, my reply flies over their heads because critical thinking isn't popular in my country, so I decided to move on from that person and engage a different argument. I find this comment about how they are for living together before marriage so that you can better know someone. And call me crazy, but I think that's a fairly irresponsible decision if your goal was to learn more about a person. So I decided to reply and I said, why are the only options living together or marriage? If your goal is to find out what kind of person your partner is, there are plenty of ways to sniff out their true characters. I proceeded to give examples like watch their behavior when they drive. Some people don't deal with traffic well and you can see if they have a temper on them. Another example is how they behave towards waiters in a restaurant. How do they treat people that they have power over? There are a lot of ways to expose a person's red flags without living together. For me, I thought I was giving a good argument. But then the person replies by shifting the topic from a relationship standpoint to a financial standpoint. They start saying how many people live paycheck to paycheck and some of the ideas I provided are a luxury. Then they go and say that just because someone doesn't have money, that doesn't mean they don't deserve love. I have to admit, talking to people online can be really infuriating. But for the sake of staying on topic and being graceful, I decided to provide cheaper alternatives. So I said you can go and play a competitive game with someone. Sounds stupid, but some people will start screaming at you when the game is not going their way. And that can also be a good way to see if someone has a bad temper. Another option is to fall in line at a fast food restaurant during the lunch rush. See if they can be patient when they have to wait for a long time. I have to reiterate that my argument isn't about money. Of course, this flies over this person's head as well, and I'm very tempted to make their heads fly off their shoulders with a bat. But let's move on from this part because the conversation does continue. So the next part of this person's argument is that living together can be a stepping stone because as much as you can learn about a person from going out on dates, you can only learn about a person's behavior at home when you live together. And that's how you can find out if you can actually stand being with your partner 24/7. Sure, maybe in their head they have a point, but again, why do you need to live together to find out how a person acts at home? If you really wanted to see their behavior, then visit them at their house. See how he acts with his family. Or if they live alone, check if they keep their own space clean. Again, you don't need to make such a big decision like moving in together just to find out more about your partner. Okay, look, if you made it this far into the video, I want to say thanks. But I also want to let you know that moving in together comes with a lot of responsibilities. Domestic partnership means being financially and emotionally responsible for each other and dividing chores between you two. Some people are not ready for that kind of commitment, and it would be weird to put yourself through that if you're not 100% sure about your relationship with your partner. Also, I went back to my point that living together can be a big hurdle for women who want marriage. When you start doing things a wife does before you get married, you're basically getting your man used to this lifestyle. They may start with appreciating the way you take care of him, But there are men out there that once they get used to something, they start to feel entitled and they change their expectations when it comes to the relationship. I mean, if you think about it, why would you marry your partner if there wouldn't be any difference? It's just a waste of money because weddings are expensive. Yeah, that's how some guys think, and a lot of them are in the Philippines. I don't know about other countries, but leave a comment if this is normal where you live too. Anyway, after shifting the goalpost multiple times, we finally settled this conversation. I don't think domestic partnerships are inherently bad. A lot of couples are happy and satisfied with staying in this situation. Some couples do make the transition to marriage and are happy for it as well, but there are definitely issues that need to be discussed. For women who want to get married but resign themselves to just being a domestic partner, it's a very disappointing reality. Their options are to cut their losses and find someone else, or to hold on to hope that their partner will put a ring on their finger. Some women wait years or even decades without ever getting that satisfaction. So my final take is, if you're happy with your domestic partnership, then good for you. But if you want marriage, make sure to secure the ring before living in. Otherwise, you might be setting yourself up for a disappointing ride. Anyway, thanks for watching.